Everybody, welcome back to the channel. We all knew how this was going to end, and I'm only surprised. I'm actually quite surprised it happened this quick. Yes, protests are starting to erupt against Zoran Mamdani as he unveiled the budget and the shortfall in the New York budget, and people are not happy. Now, I could tell, all of you could tell what was going to be happening from a mile away. Of course, he got in with, promising all of these things to really, really dumb people. He said he was going to tax the rich. The corporations were going to be paying for everything, and the working class and the middle class were going to have to do nothing. They were going to have an amazing city with free buses and all the freebies that came with these victims that, of course, voted Zoran in. And let this be a warning to any of you that are thinking of voting for Zach Palensky in the Green Party. These socialists, and in Zoran's case, communist policies never work. They just don't. I remember they were saying that we're going to be taxing all these businesses and New Yorkers are going to be doing this. And at the budget, they've noticed a shortfall of over $5 billion of New York's fiscal year 2027, which he said must be closed until June 2026, and has now said that the city must balance the books it's legally required, and offered two main ways to do it: raise taxes on the rich, which he kind of got in on, or raise taxes that everyone pays, essentially hike up property taxes by 10%. Now, he came out at this budget and issued this spiel, which we're going to have a little watch to in a second, and then we're going to get into these protests in a moment. But guys, as always, please do hit the like button and hit the subscribe button for more. So this is Zoran the other day at the budget, telling New Yorkers that they have two paths to go down. And I'll explain to you why the first path isn't going to be happening, and the working class and the middle class are going to be brunting all of these taxes.
I know that for those who have watched budget after budget, it is tempting to assume that we are engaging in the same dance as our predecessors. Let me assure you, nothing about this is typical. That's why our solutions won't be either. There are two paths to bridge this gap. The first is the most sustainable and the fairest path. This is the path of ending the drain on our city and raising taxes on the richest New Yorkers and the most profitable corporations. The onus for resolving this crisis should not be placed on the backs of working and middle-class New Yorkers. If we do not fix this structural imbalance and do not heed the calls of New Yorkers to raise taxes on the wealthy, this crisis will not disappear. It will simply return, year after year, forcing harder and harsher choices each time. And if we do not go down the first path, the city will be forced down a second, more harmful path. Faced with no other choice, the city would have to exercise the only revenue lever fully within our own control. We would have to raise property taxes. We would also be forced to raid our reserves. To balance the budget as required by law, our preliminary budget takes the only path within our control, the second path. The options of the second path are the options of last resort. Options that we will only employ if there is no other means of arriving at a balanced budget.
And the last resort is actually going to be happening, because his option one is taxing the wealthy and the corporations. Now, this isn't up to Mamdani to do this. He's trying to play, of course, with Governor Kathy Hochul, the New York state lawmakers. Essentially, this goes beyond New York in his way with regard to actually putting these taxes out there. And Kathy Hochul is resisting these taxes, and this pretty much kills this option unless the state agrees. And the state isn't agreeing with these taxes that Zoran Mamdani is implementing. So, of course, as always, option two is going to be the one. The property tax increases by 9.5%, and, that's a very significant jump. This is obviously going to hit the homeowners. They'd pay more directly, but also the renters, who are the working class and the middle class, as landlords will likely pass higher property taxes onto the higher rents. So yeah, I mean, if you didn't think New York's rent was already sky high, the working class and the middle class are going to be hit with it even further. Now, I'm not laughing and mocking the working class and the middle class at all. It's just the idiots that actually thought that this guy was going to be able to deliver on what he campaigned about. They're so freaking dumb. I mean, it doesn't surprise me when you got guys like this as their voters.
What do you say to this folks who say, well, if you tax millionaires, they're going to leave the city, and the top 1% pays 40% of the taxes in the city, so what happens if they leave? What's your response?
Well, that's what I would say. It's like we should take their business, and we run it like for our, like the city ourselves.
So if they take their business to Florida, you feel like you can make it, keep it here?
I mean, they can't leave the building. They can't like just bring their whole entire workforce to Florida, right? They can't bring all of like the resources that they have to like build the business here to Florida, right? That's a whole thing. And that's where we would even say, like, if we're building a real movement, right, to like stop that, we'd also like make it illegal for them to like actually like leave, right? We would fine them to hell if they're gonna try to like abandon their property here, right? Because clearly people do need to work, right? People do need to like, you know, make a living. So
These idiots, man. But again, look, now, of course, New Yorkers are turning on him, obviously, for obvious reasons. Have a look at this protest here today.
The mayor, with the greatest respects, in every campaign speech, in every debate where you engage, we opened our ears to listen. Now today, accept the words echoing from us now. Do your job as mayor and leave our taxes out.
Having only two options. You're saying if we don't tax the rich, then I gotta increase property taxes. We are not a pawn in Southeast Queens. We are not part of your negotiation tactics. Zoran Mamdani, you are out your goddamn mind.
We backed you. Do the right thing. Yeah, right. This is exactly how it is. And it's not just that. We're, of course, seeing it erupt on social media as well. New Yorkers aren't happy. And it only took 6 weeks. Just over a month. That was, I'm not a betting man, but I was at least going to see this kind of fall through by 6 months in. But it's happened after a month, and that's pretty insane. Also, by the way, where is the funding actually going to? Well, it's going to this.
Equity, $4.6 million, Commission on Racial Equity, $835,000, Commission on Gender Equity, $260,000 for Department of Education, Chief Diversity Officer, $301,000 for 3 FDNY civilian chief diversity inclusion officers. There's a title for you. And $118,000 for an FDNY chief diversity inclusion officers. Is that necessary stuff? You can't cut that back?
And this video that's coming up now is absolute gold, but sums up the whole situation very, very well of what it's like to live in Mamdani's New York.
New York City, I've got to tell you, I'm so impressed with you. You guys voted for Zoran Mamdani, what? He's been in office, what, a month and a half? When I said you guys were going to get a communism, Sharia law speed run, I completely underestimated this man's efficiency. He is a pedal to the floor, okay? You guys are about to get a 10% property tax increase? Yes, I know that's dependent on whether or not, you guys tax the rich and, tax those corporations. They're not going to do that. Oh my God, you guys are so cooked. As you walk to your price-hiked public transportation, and you can just hear the call to prayer reverberating off the walls of your city, do you just look up at the skyline and think, this is exactly what I wanted? I would have to say one thing. This Zoran Mamdani guy sure knows how to get rid of the homeless. And I gotta tell you, actually, right before I opened this app, I saw that he's defunding the police. He's getting rid of 5,000 new police hires. Guys, unbelievable. I'm so pumped. The vibes are gonna be sick. Okay, in all honesty, I find New York City incredibly charming. Every time I go, I find a new restaurant, a little diner. It's great. But I gotta tell you guys, when I see that there are debates happening, whether or not you're allowed to have dogs, because some of the new arrivals from predominantly Muslim countries don't like dogs, I gotta tell you, I don't think this is gonna work out the way you wanted, but vibes are sick. Allahu Akbar. In other news, have you guys seen what Japan has done about a similar immigration situation? I knew those samurais were onto something. They know how to preserve culture.
That was quite funny, to be fair. That was it. But it's the truth. This is what's happening now. But the more to the point is the people are waking up by it and starting to stage protests about Mamdani's decisions. But people, this is why people need to be educated. Now, I relate it back to my country in the United Kingdom right now. And we're actually seeing an opinion poll in the UK of the Green Party, pretty much like the policies that of Zoran Mamdani. Minus the Islamist stuff, but they of course would pander towards Islam. We're seeing them grow in mass amounts of popularity in our country with these sort of broken and they sound great. They're these manifesto pledges that they're coming out with. They sound so great. Let's just tax the billionaires and they'll pay for everybody. But what we see is this just doesn't happen. It sounds good when you're gearing up to an election, it gets people on side, but actually facilitating it and actually carrying these things out is just quite frankly ludicrous. I mean, Zach's on a different level, but he is a bit like Zoran. Well, we're Sanctuary City. Oh, we want open borders and all this kind of things. This needs to be a warning that these far left radicals need to be moved way away out of politics because it's dangerous, because they're lying to people about what they're going to do when they come into power and then turning their places into shit pits. And I feel sorry for New York. I really do. Well, I don't for the people because clearly they have no single brain cell between them if they voted for Zoran Mamdani in the first place. And you reap what you sow. You get what you vote for. So I can't have too much sympathy. I love the United States. I love the US people, but sorry. But for the people that voted for this tit, you're going to have to find out the hard way. And unfortunately, this is it. And already a month in, the middle class and the working class are going to be brunting the taxes that you promised that you weren't going to be paying. 6 weeks in. 6 weeks in. A 9.5% property tax that is going to be implemented on to the working class and the middle class. So much for a promise there, Zoran. Guys, let's get into the live chat. Let's see what people are saying with regard to Zoran Mamdani and these protests that are happening in New York as they are outraged about his decisions. Another Khan. That's what I'm saying. We've already seen it with these progressive sort of mayor likes. We've seen it in London. We've tried warning you people. We tried warning you. It doesn't end well. It really doesn't end well. The American public is as just stupid as the British public. Hey, don't mock the red states. The red states voted for Trump. At least they got Trump in power. You know, in terms of from a US level, at least they got Trump in. Don't mock the red states. Yeah, we can mock the blue states, but the Reds, Republicans, yeah, they got their man in. New York is going to be Muslim in 2 weeks. Yeah, I'm hearing these call to prayers as people are going on their way to work. Who the fuck would live in New York City? I know. I mean, it used to be a great place, to be fair. Probably rigged. Sounds familiar. Yeah, for those of you living in London, you'll know it a little bit, but not quite as bad as Zoran Mamdani. And to be fair, Sadiq Khan's failure, whilst it has been catastrophic failure of being the mayor of London, is quite not. He didn't F up as quickly as Zoran did. Let's be honest with you. Now we're seeing protests that this will only be one term. Zoran Mamdani will only be elected for one term after they see the state of this city. And you're already seeing their voters turn due to him going against taxing the rich. The rich are going to be brunting everything. We're going to own all the businesses. We're going to take over all the corporations. The rich are going to be paying for us and our free buses. And that never really worked out, did it? 6 weeks in. You need to see the bigger picture of why he's doing this. They want you to move out. I wonder why. Exactly. True. Very, very true. He makes a very good point, guys. Have a look at this chat here. You need to see the bigger picture of why he's doing this. They want you to move out. Wonder why. Sanctuary City for all of the illegals. What's with all the spacemen? I don't know. They just look kind of cool, although they have fallen over. You know, what do you decorate your cabinets with? But either way, they look kind of good. But guys, that's enough for this one. What do you make of Zohran Mamdani? The protests that are erupting against him in New York as they find out that he's a fraud after just 6 weeks. And do you feel for the people of New York, or do you think that they just reap what they sow? I'm on that side. Guys, let me know in the comments. Hit like, hit subscribe. Shout out to Donald Trump. There might be a lot of American viewers on this one, so shout out to Trump. We love Trump here on this channel. Take care.